Story number 1. The Shadows in Shelby County. I grew up in Shelby County, Tennessee. Quiet, rural, full of back roads that twist through the woods like veins. It's the kind of place where everyone knows your name, but no one talks about what happens after dark. Especially not what happened to my family. I'm telling this because I can't keep pretending nothing happened. Because every time I close my eyes, I see her, my mother, standing in the hallway whispering to something that isn't there. When my mom got sick, we moved back into my grandparents' old farmhouse on the edge of the county. It had been abandoned for almost 10 years, ever since my grandfather passed away. He was a preacher, a strange one. Folks said he used to hold midnight services in his basement, talking about saving souls that were never born. My mom never liked to talk about him. She said he was too close to the dark. The farmhouse itself felt wrong. The moment we moved in, I noticed the walls, covered in small crosses carved into the wood, hundreds of them scattered across the hallways and door frames. When I asked Mom why they were there, she just said he was keeping something out. But sometimes, late at night, I swear I saw those crosses move. It started small, scratchings in the walls, soft footsteps in the attic. Then one night, I woke to the sound of my mom talking in the hallway. Her voice was calm, like she was soothing a child. I peeked through the door. She was facing the wall, whispering, "You don't have to stay there anymore. He's gone." There was no one else there, but the shadows behind her shifted. The next morning, I found her in the kitchen, pale and quiet. "Mom," I said carefully, "who were you talking to last night?" She looked up slowly. "Your grandfather." I froze. "He's dead for 10 years. Her eyes filled with tears. "He never left." I tried to convince myself it was grief, medication, stress. But the house started changing. Doors opened on their own. The air smelled like burned wood. The walls would creak even when there was no wind. And the crosses, those tiny carvings, they started splitting open, cracking open as if the wood itself was bleeding. 2 weeks later, I found the basement key in her nightstand. She always told me never to go down there, but that night, curiosity won. The air grew colder with every step I took. The basement floor was covered in dirt, the walls lined with old shelves filled with Bibles, candles, and jars. In the center was a wooden chair, and beneath it, a symbol carved into the floor. Not a cross, something else. A circle made of interlocking shapes like a web. Dried blood filled the grooves. Then I saw the photographs. Dozens of them. All of my family. My mom, my grandparents, even me as a child. Each photo had a name written under it, and a date. Every date matched the night one of them had died, except mine. Mine was blank. That night, I confronted her. "Mom, what is this? Why is my name—" She cut me off. "He marked you too." "Who did?" Her hands shook. "Your grandfather. He thought he could bind us to God, but it wasn't God he was talking to." Her voice broke. "He made a pact to save our family from death, but something else came instead." I stared at her. "You mean—" She nodded. "It lives in the house now. It watches.
and it wants you. That's when I heard it, a slow, deep growl from the hallway. We both turned toward the sound. The lights flickered, the air went ice cold. At the end of the hall stood a shape, tall, black, like smoke trapped in a man's form. Its head brushed the ceiling, and even though it had no face, I felt it looking at me. Mom screamed, "Don't move!" She grabbed my arm and dragged me to the kitchen. "Get the Bible!" she yelled, but before I could move, the front door slammed shut on its own. The sound of footsteps, heavy, dragging, filled the house. Mom whispered, "He's here." We hid in the pantry. I could hear it moving through the living room, the floorboards groaning under its weight. Then it stopped, right outside the door. I held my breath. The wood creaked. A shadow slid under the crack, long, clawed fingers stretching towards us. Mom grabbed my hand. "Don't look at it," she whispered, but I did. For half a second, our eyes met, and I saw my grandfather's face, melted, screaming silently from inside the darkness. When I woke up, it was morning. The pantry door was open. My mom was gone. There was a trail of blood leading to the basement. I followed it, trembling. The basement was cold, darker than before. The chair was knocked over, the circle on the floor glowing faintly red. And in the center was my mother. Her body limp, eyes wide open. The necklace she always wore was gone. Beside her, carved into the dirt, were two words. She offered. The police said she died from heart failure. They didn't even question the marks on her arms or the symbols on the floor. They just called it a tragic accident. I moved out that same week, sold the property cheap, but I still dream about that house. Sometimes, in the dreams, my mother is standing at the foot of my bed. Her eyes are black, and she says the same thing every time. "It's your turn now."
Story number 2. The Silent House on Lake Vermilion. When I was 16, my family inherited a cabin on the far edge of Lake Vermilion, Minnesota. It had belonged to my mother's older sister, Aunt Rose, someone I barely remembered. She died alone that winter, and the police said it was from hypothermia. But when we arrived to clean the place out, I could tell something else had happened there. The lake was frozen over, the trees bending under the weight of ice. The cabin stood near the woods, surrounded by silence so deep it almost had a pulse. I remember thinking it didn't feel abandoned, it felt watched. My mother said the place used to be a family retreat. She spent summers here as a kid, but as she unlocked the door, I saw her hand trembling. Inside, everything smelled of damp wood and old smoke. The furniture was still there, but every mirror had been turned to face the wall. I asked her why. She didn't answer. That night, while unpacking, I found a small wooden box in the closet. It had been sealed with wax and carved with symbols I didn't recognize, shapes that looked like eyes and hands. My mom caught me holding it and snatched it away, her face pale. "Don't ever touch that," she said sharply. "It belonged to your aunt." When I asked what was inside, she whispered, "Memories." The next day, we started clearing out the attic. My mom told me to leave anything that looked old and personal, but I found something anyway, a notebook under a loose floorboard. It was Aunt Rose's journal. The first few pages were normal, notes about gardening, fishing, the weather. Then, around the middle, the handwriting changed, shaky, desperate. "He's in the walls again. He watches from the lake. The reflection isn't mine anymore." I stopped reading when I got to the entry dated the day before she died. The silence is full of him. Mother was right. The lake remembers. I shouldn't have opened the box. That night, while unpacking, I woke up to the sound of someone walking on the porch. Slow, deliberate steps, crunching over ice. I thought it was my mom, maybe checking the generator, but when I peeked through the window, I saw a figure standing near the edge of the lake. It looked like a man, but he wasn't moving, just standing there, facing the frozen water. I blinked, and he was gone. The next morning, there were wet footprints leading from the lake to our porch. Bare feet. My mom saw them too. She froze. Then, without saying a word, she turned every mirror in the house face down on the floor. I started asking questions. She ignored me until I showed her the journal. Her face drained of color. She grabbed it from my hands and threw it into the fireplace. "Don't read those lies," she said. "Lies?" I asked. She wrote about someone watching her. Mom looked at me with something between fear and shame. "There's something about this family you don't understand," she whispered. "Your grandmother believed the lake could speak, that it kept the souls of the dead. Rose, she tried to talk to it." She looked toward the frozen window, and I think she succeeded. That night, the temperature dropped to nearly -20 degrees Fahrenheit. The generator died around midnight. Without power, the whole cabin sank into darkness. Then came the knocking, not on the door, from beneath the floor. Thud, thud, thud. Slow, steady knocks, as if someone was knocking from under the foundation. I grabbed a flashlight and crept down to the crawlspace hatch. The sound stopped when I opened it. Cold air spilled out, and I swear I heard breathing. I shined a light down. Something moved, a pale hand half buried in the dirt, twitching. I screamed and fell back, but when my mom rushed in and looked, it was gone, just frozen soil and my shaking hands. She didn't say a word, just locked the hatch and whispered, "Don't go near that again." We planned to leave the next morning, but overnight the road froze over and the truck wouldn't start. We were stuck another night in that cursed place. Around 3 a.m., I heard whispering. It was coming from the living room, faint, wet sounding like someone talking underwater. I followed the sound. The mirrors we had turned face down were now upright again, every single one. And in the reflection, I saw my Aunt Rose. She was standing behind me, her skin pale and cracked, her hair dripping water. Her mouth opened, but the sound that came out wasn't a voice. It was the same knocking I heard beneath the floor. Thud, thud, thud. Then she whispered, "He's waiting." The lights flickered on for a split second, and I saw my own reflection smiling back at me, while my real face was frozen in terror. I woke up at dawn on the floor. My mom was gone. The front door stood open, snow blowing inside. I followed her tracks down toward the lake. She was standing on the ice, holding that sealed wooden box. "Mom!" I shouted, running toward her. She turned slowly, her eyes red like she'd been crying. "It has to end with me," she said softly. "Our family, we kept his silence for too long." Before I could reach her, she slammed the box down on the ice. The wax cracked, the box burst open, and a thick black mist poured out, twisting into a shape that wasn't human. The ice beneath her shattered. She screamed once before the lake swallowed her whole. I watched as the dark shape sank beneath the surface and the water went still again. The sheriff's department found nothing. No body, no box, just the footprints, hers and a second set leading out from the woods to the lake, bare feet. They called it a tragic disappearance. I was sent to live with my dad in Duluth.
But some night I dream of that cabin. I see the frozen lake, and under the ice, a woman's face, eyes open, mouth moving silently. And when I wake up, I can still hear the knocking. Thud, 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 coming from beneath my bed.
Story number 3. The Well Beneath Cedar Creek. When my uncle passed away, I inherited his land out near Cedar Creek, Texas. A few acres of dry pasture, an old house, and a well that hadn't been touched in years. Everyone in my family called it cursed. I used to think that was just a story my granddad made up to keep kids from falling in. I was wrong. The first time I saw the property, the sun was setting behind the trees, turning the sky blood red. The house leaned slightly to one side, windows boarded, the yard overgrown. The well sat right in the middle of it all, a stone ring half covered in vines. Even from a distance, it made my stomach twist. The air around it felt wrong, heavy, like the silence was pressing down on me. My mom had begged me not to go. She said that land took everything from our family. I laughed it off, but she didn't. She looked me dead in the eyes and whispered, "Promise me you won't open that well." The house smelled of dust and rot. I found boxes of old photos, black and white portraits of people I didn't recognize. But one thing stood out. Every picture had the same background. That damn well. In some of the photos, the people looked terrified, their faces pale, their eyes focused on something just beyond the frame. On the back of one photo, in shaky handwriting, it said, "He never left." That night, I couldn't sleep. The wind howled through the cracks in the walls, and the old pipes moaned. Around 2 a.m., I heard something else, a dull clanking sound, like metal scraping against stone. It was coming from outside, from the direction of the well. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped out onto the porch. The grass brushed against my legs as I walked toward the sound. The closer I got, the colder it felt. When I shined my light into the well, I saw something glinting below. It looked like a chain, swaying gently, as if someone had just pulled it. Then I heard it. A whisper. Not loud, not clear, just a voice floating up from the darkness saying my name. Eli. I froze. The sound echoed up the shaft, low and soft, like someone trapped deep below. I stepped back, heart pounding, and the whisper turned into laughter. Slow, broken, human laughter. The next morning, I called my mom. I told her what I heard. She went silent for a long time before saying, "Your uncle heard it too." "What do you mean?" She said, "The voice belonged to your grandfather, but your grandfather's body was never found, Eli. He disappeared the night the well was sealed." I asked her what really happened back then. She just said, "Some secrets in our family were buried for a reason." Then she hung up. That night I dreamed of the well. I saw my grandfather standing at the edge, whispering into the darkness. Behind him, something was climbing up, a black shape made of ash and teeth. When I woke, my hands were covered in dirt. The window was open, and there were muddy footprints leading from my bed to the door. I went outside. The well lid, the heavy iron cover, was gone. The chain I'd seen before was now hanging over the edge, dripping with what looked like water. But when I touched it, it was warm. Then I saw it, a shadow moving inside the well, circling, climbing. By sunset, I decided to leave, but when I started my truck, it wouldn't even turn over. The air smelled like smoke, though nothing was burning. And then I heard it again, that same voice, my name, calling from the trees this time. Eli, come back. I spun around, flashlight shaking in my hand. Between the oak trees, I saw a man standing barefoot in the dirt. His skin looked gray, his clothes old and torn. "Grandpa?" I whispered. He smiled, or tried to. His jaw didn't move right, like it had been broken and never set right again. He raised a hand and pointed toward the well. "Don't," I said. "You're not real." But his eyes, those pale, milky eyes, looked real enough. He whispered again, "Finish what I started." I ran inside and locked the door. The sound of chains dragging echoed outside, circling the house. The walls started creaking, the lights flickering. Then, the floorboards near the back door began to rise, as if something was pushing from underneath. I could hear whispers again, hundreds of them, all overlapping, angry, pleading, desperate. And then, silence. The kind that makes your heart stop. Until something knocked. Once, twice, 3 times. I held my breath as a voice, softer than before, said, "We're still here." I must have blacked out because the next thing I remember was waking up at dawn. The house was quiet again. The front door was wide open. Outside, the ground around the well had collapsed, a wide pit of fresh, loose dirt. And there, half buried in the mud, was the iron lid. I saw something carved on it now, words that hadn't been there before. "You shouldn't have listened." I packed up and left that morning, didn't even lock the door. It's been a year since then. I live in Austin now, but sometimes I wake up at night to the sound of water dripping. Once, I followed the sound to my bathroom sink. The faucet was dry, but in the mirror, behind me, I saw the old well. It's there, in every reflection now, faint, distant, but always waiting. And sometimes, when the house is quiet, I swear I can still hear that voice from deep below. Eli, finish what I started.